am Dr. Rachel Northern, and it's my love-hate time of year right now of detox time or purification diet time. So about twice a year I talk about this topic and promote purification or detox diet for most of my patients that are coming in, and also for my team here. We do it here. It's just a really good time to just help reset the body, especially after, the fall time and the springtime is the times I usually talk about it. And it's this time of year because everybody's got their sugar fixes all through the summer, eating all the junk, the alcohol, etc., etc. And so now it's fall, and it's really just a good time to just kind of reset the body, reset, the whole thing. So we're gonna move on. So it's one of my favorite slides I put up is are you living in a burning house? So are you taking care of your body? Is your body healthy? How do you know really half the time? Because, only about 15% of our body is actually sensory. So I have so many people go, when I'm at a party and go, when they find out I'm a chiropractor, well, I don't need to go, I don't have any pain. And I'm like, well, most people don't know they have heart disease until they have a heart attack, and some people don't survive that first symptom of heart disease. So that's not a good way to measure our health, is based on pain. So I'm big about maintenance. That's why I'm promoting this diet twice a year, to help put out fires before they just take the whole house down. Let's maintain our body, help clean up the liver. And we're going to talk about a couple of things that are inflaming our liver and what we're exposed to just in our society. So first off, the U.S. top causes of death, even still today, these are still the same top things that cause people to die. Do you guys know what percentage of Americans die from heart disease and stroke, vascular problems?
76%.
So pretty good, but not that high. So 1 out of 4 Americans die from heart disease, 25%. 25%. So, we get a little frustrated because, there's more people, whatever. It's all these things are lifestyle behaviors. So if our government was really concerned about this, they would, pull off trans fats off the market. They'd pull out high fructose corn syrup off the market. They'd pull these things that we know, we have scientific evidence saying these things are counterproductive, unhealthy, and cause fatty liver, problems with the heart, problems with diabetes, etc., etc. But it's not happening. So it's our job to take ownership of our bodies and take charge of our health and make sure your house is not just all of a sudden on fire. So physical health. So that's part of my specialty. Obviously, as a chiropractor, I want to make sure the body is working as optimal as possible, not just taking tension and pain away, but making sure the body is working properly. I want to make sure all the body, 5 keys to optimal health is making sure all systems are working as optimally as possible. So as a chiropractor, make sure the nervous system is communicating through the spinal cord, all to the cells, tissues, organs, everything is just communicating effectively and accurately. So that's my prime. So the second passion I have, obviously talking about, is nutrition, optimizing the nutrition we put into our body, because we are what we eat. We literally are. Our skin is made of fat and protein. So, our teenagers that are acne, they're usually it's because they are eating poor foods, the fast foods and things like that. And when even the teenagers, they change their diet, their skin clears up a little bit. So they have to, just processing what we're doing. So reduce toxins going into our body. So if you can reduce the toxins as much as possible, which we're going to talk about that later. And then, the body needs to move. So we are in a docile society, even worse today with now everybody's virtual, online, school's online right now. So, just talking about taking breaks. I do have another video called Stay Fit While You Sit. So you can watch that on my YouTube channel and talk about different ways to do some exercise through the day if you're stuck at home at a computer. And the fifth really important thing is mindset, having a healthy, optimist mindset. They say the people who live to their hundreds are people who are positive and flexible and go with the change, and that's all up here. That has to be with a choice of how you're going to interact with the world and take it as, that whole saying about, life gives you lemons, make lemonade, or be sourpuss. It's up to you. You have that choice. It is a choice. So first off, what are we putting into our body? So this is common American diet mostly right here, the wine, the ice cream, the cookies. This is summer right here. This is all everybody's summer right now. The big thing is with vaping, which there's more data coming out on how unhealthy it is, and that's literally, your lungs are one of the most porous to your bloodstream, and you're virtually putting chemicals straight into your bloodstream with that. So, we have trans fats, artificial colorings, artificial flavorings, and actually even makeups and things like that. So we'll have a list coming out later about these things. What do you have, in your household? So I talk about it, and I talk about this a little bit in my book, is even like air purifiers, like those plug-ins and stuff like that. A lot of them are like synthetic chemicals and actually cause worse asthma issues, worse lung issues, and people don't even know it. But again, because you're absorbing that in through your lungs into your bloodstream, so that accumulates. We have more chemicals, they say, underneath our kitchen sink than a 1950s laboratory had back in the day. We can get access to so many chemicals, and we have all these harsh chemicals to clean with that weren't even accessible, 60, 70 years ago. And so being proactive with that. The one thing too is talking about, there is a lot more organic, natural cleaners. That's a big movement. I'm really happy with that work. They are, people are like, oh, it's natural, but does it work? No, I have some stuff that really works that's natural. You don't need the chemicals to get rid of stains or whatever you want to accomplish. I have talked about some candles even. You burn them, they release chemicals and toxins. Obviously, cigarette smoke too, not just the vaping. That's obviously not healthy as well. But, paying attention to your environment, what you're breathing in, not just what you're eating that you're absorbing, but what you're breathing in, and also what we put on our skin as well. So common toxins that we are getting in our daily dose in our standard American diet, which is sad, and also just in our environment in general, is refined foods, just sugar. They said if FDA had to approve sugar today, it would not pass their studies because it causes so many issues. They say that we eat like so much sugar, it's like 80% higher than 100 years ago. So it's ridiculous. It's like off the charts. So lotion, so things we put on our skin. Believe it or not, anything we put on our skin again is porous. It can absorb, and toxins can absorb through our skin, and actually some makeup companies actually are putting hormones in the products to get the effects they want. But unfortunately, that starts to cause problems with hormonal imbalance. Particularly, I've had this issue with women. There has been a male or two in some seminars I've went to where the person said just a basic, like something they bought from a certain company that caused their hormones to go crazy on a guy even. So, just be conscious of what you're surrounding yourself with. Deodorants, unnecessary vaccines, and other things. So just be particular wise on what you're going to do. So what these toxins can contribute to. So we put like little signs all over our office to get people like ask questions. So we put the 3 F's, and everybody's like, "Oh, I know what that says." Like F's, am I failing, doctor, or are you really upset with me, or what's going on? And it really was like fatigue, foggy-headedness, and fat. So toxins actually get stored in our fat, and it's a way of our body protecting us from the toxins. Sometimes we'll just collect those toxins, actually create more fat in order to protect us. So some people are overweight because they have so much toxins that the body is trying to protect them from. So it's a protection mechanism for us to, help the body be healthier. So, so there's weight gain, mental clarity. We talked about skin issues, so we talked about that. So some people are, when you get toxic, we start to have, the eczema and different things because the body's trying to get rid of the toxins through the skin on the other way out. So joint discomfort, so that's achiness, stiffness. So how does your body deal with these chemicals or toxins? Well, we are blessed. God blessed us with this awesome filter called the liver. The liver is amazing. It does such amazing things, and everything we eat, absorb, anything that goes into our bloodstream, the liver's job is to clean it up. So it takes it, it says, okay, so artificial flavoring or whatever, this is a non-food. So any non-food, it takes and it says, oh, well, this doesn't give us anything, no energy, no nothing. I have to repackage it, get it out of here because it doesn't do anything to us or for us. And so the liver's job is doing that. So if we already talked about the high load we already have, this liver is working pretty hard right now. So, one of the main things that the liver's role is it helps actually produce proteins. It's really important for clotting. So it has all these hormonal conversions that have to happen. It's important for bile production, which most people know that because your gallbladder is attached to your liver. Do you know what bile does? Anybody? So I always tell people when they see those like Dawn commercials and like they have the plate with the grease on it and they do the drop a dial and it breaks up the grease. So it makes it microscopic so you can get rid of the grease. That's what bile does for the fats. So it's very important for fat digestion. So breaking down fats. So a lot of people in our society, again, because of our high fat, bad fat, society, I have many patients that have had their gallbladders removed. So I always suggest maybe a supplement, or particularly I also recommend eating beets because that helps thin out the bile so they can have adequate bile to digest their fats properly. But that bile is really important for breaking down the fats. So it's super important for that liver to produce. So without the liver, we couldn't grow properly, we'd bleed to death, and we'd waste away to nothing because all these toxins and everything would just accumulate. So also it converts our sugars to fat and fats to sugars. So we talk about that. So fats to glucose, glucose to fat. So it converts both ways. So when you want to lose weight, the liver's job to do that. That's another reason why I'm not a big fan of the ketogenic diet, because it's a high-fat diet, and like I said, if the liver's already taxed in our society, you're putting another level of taxing on it. I think it is so effective with the patients because it's pretty a no-sugar diet. You're eliminating refined carbs, which is the same thing I'm going to talk about today. So it's eliminating the sugars, the fast sugars, and the refined carbs. And yes, fat is a higher energy reserve. It gives you more energy, but long term, that's not very good for the liver or the heart to go on those diets long term. So also it's important because it stores, our B vitamin, our iron, our A, D, K, B12, iron and zinc. So everybody, our aunts, I remember my grandfather, when I was a kid, he fed me liver. I remember eating liver as a child. Now my kids don't even know what that would look like on a plate. This generation, it's lost. We don't we've lost the eating the meats, and that is just rich in all these good nutrients that we need. So another reason why our health is declining in crisis in our society, because we're not getting all these good things from our food anymore. So the liver has the ability to also help us against germ-warfare. So it helps with the immune system and cleaning up bad cells and dead cells and things like that. So this is another reason very important to keep that liver healthy and functioning. So the one program, so we're talking about just the 10-day detox programs. There is longer ones, and I first always recommend people to do the 10-day one first if they've never done a program at all, because usually they crap out about 10, 11 days anyways, because it's just a change. It's like getting on that bike, and not everybody can get on the bike and just ride away. Most people can't, even myself included. The first time I did this 16 years ago, it was like I gave up at day 11. It was a 21-day back then. It was long 3 weeks. And the first time I was like, I can't do this, So, and it was more stringent. They've actually perfected the program and made it more friendly, and compliant. And they've had a lot of good research in diabetic clinics and things like that, saying it's safe and effective, and actually have good studies where they do blood work before and after, and saw a decrease in blood sugars, decrease in cholesterol, a lot of, obviously, also helping lose weight, things like that. But I don't like to stress just losing weight. I like to just say making the body healthier. So, one of the programs is called the 10-day blood sugar program. So that one is where people who know they're borderline diabetic, they're having sugar balancing problems. So some of the symptoms they might have is like craving carbs or sugar, shaky or headaches between meals, low energy like all the time, have trouble really maintaining sleep, falling asleep sometimes, but maybe fall asleep and just wake up and can't stay asleep. And then the moodiness. So the Snickers commercials I think about is like, hangry, like, oh, okay, have a Snickers bar. Well, the Snickers is just shooting you up and then making you crash back down. So this is more of a sustainable program, and it offers some digestive enzymes. This one does have the shakes involved with it and some tablets to take with it, some digestive enzymes, some other herbs that help support the whole system in the blood sugar balancing. Okay, so there's that one. Another one is a 10-day inflammatory program. So this one is more people like I know, maybe the more the joint achiness, the stiffness all the time. They just have puffy like legs or swelling, swelling in the joints, the dry skin, bags under the eyes, water retention, bloating. Those are the people we kind of talk about, okay, this one probably be a good one for you. Okay, so there's a program. But overall, there's just the basic one, which is following without just doing shakes and just following this diet program that I'm going to recommend here. So what the diet program is that you do shakes. So there's one particular shake right now, right here. So the Detox Balance, and we're actually the whole month of September, we are doing a 10% discount on the products, so that way we can boost people to kind of encourage them to take the plunge. I usually always recommend people looking at their calendar and seeing where they can get really 10 days where they're not going to have like too much temptations. Parties, barbecues, like a special anniversary, maybe you want to like push it after that, or shift it before, try to kind of think of your calendar so you can kind of try to commit it all the way through, because it's really important to go all the way through just to help the liver go through all the different processes it needs to kind of get, package the toxins and then get rid of the toxins. What's nice about this is it used to be, when I said I started the 21 day, it used to be you had the shake and it was awful. It had like just green taste. You had to doctor it up a lot, and it was just bad. But I figured it out how to doctor it up, and then you had like all these handful of herbs that you had to take, and fiber you had to take, and it was a lot, and some green food you needed to, so it was like whatever. So they perfected it where it's all into one shake, and it's actually tasty, somewhat tasty, which I'm actually gonna shake some up here in a second. Actually, I'll do that right now. So what's nice about this is all, Standard Process, the company, they're actually in Palmyra, Wisconsin, and they actually grow most of all the products in here are actually grown right there, okay? And I'm just going to go over a couple little things that's in here. So it is gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan. So I got a lot of vegans nowadays coming to me. This is a really good thing. So like their proteins, like pea protein, it's got flax meal, pumpkin seed protein, buckwheat flour, beet powder, apple pectin, jumer berry, organic Spanish black radish, because you all know everybody eats all of that, It's got the broccoli, the dandelion root, so everybody knows dandelion's really good for detoxifying, so et cetera, et cetera. So that's just half the list I went through. So it's all good, natural, organic, grown stuff. So really healthy, grown stuff. So it's all in the shake. So I actually got in this shaker bottle. This is how easy it is too. In the shaker bottle, I have like 2 shakes worth. So I'm going to put. Usually it takes 2 scoops. I'm going to put 3 because I'm running out of room, but I think I have 1.5, so we'll do that. So usually you do 2 scoops per shake. And this blend right here is I have actually almond milk, half almond milk. We did plain almond milk. Sorry, my office manager picked that. Unsweetened, because we're trying to avoid sugars on this diet. Unsweetened, and half water. And then I got ice cubes in here because it tastes better cold. I do have one patient though, she likes to do it in the morning as like a hot tea. and she likes it that way. And so I'm like, to each their own. I like it cold. I like my shakes cold. So, and you just shake it up. It blends fairly well. So it does, I do warn you, it does thicken as it sits. So like usually I tell people try to drink it as fast as you can. So Karen, if you want to grab these. I do have a live audience, so we're going to have them taste this. That's the ice cubes. I'm like, what's the chunks coming out? I'm like, oh, that's ice cubes.
Don't look at it. Always not the prettiest.
Well, it does have a lot of greens in it. So I'm going to have you guys taste that. Oh, have you done this? He's good.
Milk.
Have you done it without the almond milk? Good. I have mine with, I usually do mine with blueberries. Blueberries. How's that? Not bad. So I'm just doing it not doctored up. So they have a bunch of recipes in the book. So if I go back to the slide, the book, you get a whole book with the program, and I can move back over. And so the book actually has, like you start off with 1 shake a day. Now, this is not a fasting diet, okay? So most people, in their head, they think of like the 1980s and 90s, like detox, where they're like doing like lemon juice and oil, like lemon juice and like whatever is like, and not eating for 5 days. And no, we are not healthy enough to do that. That is actually very dangerous. And I've had reports of patients, I had one particular patient that went in pancreatitis because it irritated her body. So this is what's nice about this is it supports the body at the same time of detoxing the body. So you're putting good stuff in, also learning how to eat healthier things, changing kind of your lifestyle, because I like this to gear up to help you change and realize, oh, these foods are actually pretty healthy, and you can make them taste good too. And I could do this all the time, So trying to get you to kind of shift, how you eat, shift your lifestyle. This is pretty much based, so the diet portion of this is pretty much based on the low-carb Mediterranean style diet. So there is lots you can eat on that. It is the most researched diet out there, to believe it or not. They have, many, many decades and centuries of research on people that are on this diet are the healthiest people. So most people think of a detox purification diet, they think they're restricted. So I pulled out this sheet of showing you, this is a list of all the things you can have. So just all the vegetables, all the fruits, all the meats, all the fats and things like that. So you can have a lot of stuff on this diet. So it's for the 10-day, it starts off where you start with 1 shake a day, ramp up to 2 shakes a day. Now in the book, standardized, it says to go to 3 shakes a day. I don't recommend that. When they did some of the studies with some of the clinics, they said people that's where they're kind of like, I'm getting a little uncomfortable. So I'm fine with sticking with 2 shakes a day, ramp up to that, then ramp back down to like 1 shake a day. The whole time, though, eating what to eat, healthy proteins. So that's your fish, your cold water fish. If you can get wild game, grass-fed, beef, beets, lentils, healthy fats, so walnuts and flax seeds, avocado, olive oil, coconut oil, so you can, have all these things. You can have fresh fruits and vegetables. I just recommend, twice as much vegetables as fruits a day. So fruits should be your snack. So if you do have that little sugar craving, like right before I went on, and I just worked 5 hours straight. So I'm like, I'm gonna talk now. I want to get a little. I brought plums I kept in the fridge. I had a couple of plums and a carrot stick. So then I'm gonna, eat my, my healthy meal after this. So, trying to focus on eating the vegetables mostly, not the fruits. I have a lot of people who have done these kind of diets in the past, and they always like overkill on the fruits, and that's, we're still trying to balance that blood sugar and bring that down. So focus on the vegetables. There is actually a little sugar in the vegetables too, so remember that. So one thing, little tip I want to give is, one lifesaver for me on this diet is Amy's organic soups, because they usually have all organic, natural stuff, and they're usually like lentils based, and they taste really good. And if you're in a rush, cause like I need stuff in like pantry here at the office, they have a bunch of different varieties. Like I just have curried lentil or whatever, but lentil soup is like saved many times my life during this thing because I'm like, I need some protein. I don't have time to like whatever warm something up. So a little bit of soup will help me get that protein in. So if you are hungry on this diet, it's your fault. You can have unlimited fruits and vegetables. So just have a salad, add things. You can have a salad, drizzle a little oil and vinegar over it. So you can eat. So if you're hungry, I always tell people, check if it's here or if it's here. Majority of the time, it is here that people are hungry. See, is it emotional eating? Is it boredom eating? Is it just habit eating? Stop, put the sticky note on the refrigerator, like, are you hungry? Are you really hungry? Ask yourself, are you really hungry? And okay, and if you just need something to chew on, then get that carrot stick and have things prepped. That's the big thing with this diet too, prepping, having things readily available. So I've talked about this many times in other talks. I really don't cook in the family. My husband's the chef of the family. He's the one that cooks most of the time. So I actually buy like an organic veggie tray everything's already cut up, or the bags that everything's already cut up, so I can just grab and go, because I really just don't like being in the kitchen, I'll be honest. That's just my personality. I've accepted it after 22 years of marriage that I'm not going to be the one in the kitchen all the time. So I just buy stuff that's already I know it's a little bit extra money, but for me, otherwise it rots in the bottom of the crisper drawer and it goes to the chickens at home. So so this is how it goes. So that's it. The next one. So the other thing, what to drink. So you can drink water. Everybody asks me, what's the hierarchy of like best water? I tell people if you can get, purified water, reverse osmosis water, add a dash of salt so you can add some minerals back into it. So you're not getting like a reverse, like just your body doesn't leach your minerals away from you. Alkaline water has also been really proven to have really good health benefits. I'm okay with flavored water, even though if you need a little bubbly, we have the seltzer water craze is really flavored seltzer water is craze. I would say not do like 1 can a day or whatever. You just need something with a little flavor that has no sugar in it, no artificial stuff. Read the labels. You can have herbal teas, so green tea, chamomile tea, peppermint tea, things like that if you just need some boost. They try to say non-caffeinated. So the purpose of the diet too is try to wean you off the coffee and the alcohol. Those are contributors, those are stimulants, those are also something the liver has to deal with. So it's also to reset. So if you're that person that usually gets the headache with going off caffeine, then I just tell people, okay, try to do just 1 cup of coffee, unsweetened, whatever you need to, like at least the first day or two until you can wean yourself down. Do the best you can. And that's the thing. This diet is do the best you can. My husband has done this diet with me, several times. He will not give up his cheese and his milk. So I just go, you know what? He gives everything else up. I'll let him have his cheese. And he usually always loses at least 10 pounds, like in a week, like whatever. And I'm like, it sucks. Guys can just go, they give up soda and it's like gone. So, so it's just that. So, you can have herbal drinks. You can have nut milk, so almond milk, the coconut milks. I think there's a macadamia nut milk now. I think I saw sunflower seed milk. I mean, they got all kinds of stuff now out there. So you can have those. Again, just like I would stick to 1 serving or like in the shakes to help boost that. And the main thing is to avoid alcohol. It is a sugar. Okay, and it is taxing to the liver. It is a toxin. It is a poison, believe it or not. That's why, people have the response we have to it. So, it's counterproductive to the program. So just try to avoid alcohol during this time. So, extras. I added a slide today because everybody's like, oh, all this, okay, fruits, vegetables, and proteins. Stick with that. Pretty basic, right? Well, there is, the seasonings. You can have seasonings on this if they're natural. I mean, if you got something that's like, some brand that's off-brand, that's MSG, and they got the caking and all this artificial stuff in it or extras in it, then don't have it. But if it's something that is pure, you look at the labels, or just buying the rosemary fresh or the seasonings and things fresh. You can do cinnamon. A lot of times I'll add cinnamon to my shake. So in the morning, cinnamon also is good for blood sugar lowering. So that's another one. I'll maybe do a dash when I want to mix up my shake a little bit. And you can add vanilla too, because natural unsweetened vanilla, you ever tasted vanilla by itself without sugar, it's actually pretty nasty. But if you add it to your shake, it'll help enhance the flavor and help with just mixing it up a little if you need a little something. Snacks, so nuts and seeds. So it says no peanuts because it kind of is an elimination diet, and peanuts are, in some people, allergic. Or there's issues with some people with peanuts. I do really tell people to stick with your almonds, your walnuts, sunflower seeds. Actually, macadamia nuts are really good with nutrients. Macadamias are rich in a lot of nutrients. So I pretty much tell people the more expensive the nut, the better it is for you. So those more expensive, and they're like, oh my gosh, Dr. Rachel, it was like this little thing was. So I'm like, yeah, it's a good nut. They got a lot of good stuff in there. But it's good. You only need a handful. You also can do the nut spreads. In the book, there actually is a recipe for kale chips. So that's really fun. And also dehydrated fruits and veggies. The raisins, I'm really, figs are my thing. So I have that. When I want something sweet, I'll have 1 or 2 figs and I'm good. It kind of cures that sugar craving, and it's rich in fiber. So we're getting a little bit of bonus. So grains, you're supposed to be limiting yourself to only like 1 serving a day of the gluten-free grains, such as like quinoa, wild rice, brown rice. I would avoid corn. Corn is actually, goes to sugar as well. So I tell people to avoid the corn. But there are some things you can have, to mix it up. And obviously what you should avoid. So the trans fats, the sugar, the refined foods, the processed foods, the condiments. Okay. How much high fructose corn syrup and sugar and condiments? It's insane. So one seminar I went to, this one doctor was having this diet evaluation on this guy, and he was like, couldn't understand why he was overweight and looking at what was going on because he did a food diary, and come to find out she didn't ask him about what condiments he used. He used a cup of ketchup a day on his food, a cup. And so that's a lot of sugar. That's a lot. If you ever look at the sugar contents of ketchup. So they were like, oh, that's what's counterproductive. That's what's messing with your diet. Let's give up the ketchup or cut it back to a little bit at least. Or switch it out to something else. So serving size is also really important. So you can Google this chart from anywhere. Appropriate serving sizes, making sure, for protein, the 10-ounce steak is not actually healthy for you, so it should be the size of a deck of cards is what they say for any meat. So chicken, any meat protein, that palm of your hand or whatever should not be bigger than that. Then it's too much overload. So, vegetables, depending on which vegetable is, you can look all these up and what's proper serving sizes for these things. Grains, that's, a size of an egg portion, or 1 slice of bread, they say, is 1 serving. So when I do when I'm eating sandwiches, I actually only use a half a piece, like top and bottom, a half a piece of bread. So I'm only, having my 1 serving, because a sandwich is actually 2 servings of grains. So just like this is where we're overeating in our country. We don't even realize it. So, and it just talks about other things. And this is a big one I always talk about. Buy organic if you can. There's also, you can Google what best vegetables should buy organic. There's a couple that talk about celery is one big one. You should buy organic. Try to as best possible, because all the chemicals they put on it to preserve them. Apples, certain things like that. You need to look, because you're getting chemicals on the vegetables. So we're trying to avoid that. There's just a big study talking about just, the nutrient density also, not just getting rid of the chemicals, but the nutrient density of the vegetables itself, commercial versus organic. The main one that stands out when I do this slide is, I think it was the tomato. Yeah. So you got 2,000 almost to 1 of the iron nutrients in a tomato. Same, and then spinach is like 1,500 to 19. So you're paying the extra money for the nutrients, not just to get the chemicals off, but they actually are using the cropping and rotating the crops properly, so they're getting the proper nutrients back in the plants. And commercial is they're just overproducing, they're just pushing it out, and a lot of it's kind of hollow. Like they look great, but they don't have a lot of nutrients inside. So we want to get more bang for your buck. Try to do organic. And the other recommendations is try to exercise, try to get some walks in. If you can try to, break a sweat a couple of times a week during this that's another way to kind of get the toxins out. They do recommend trying to do that. There is a survey in the book that you can evaluate your toxicity level, and you can do that before and then maybe check it again after to see your benefits there. Getting adequate rest, trying to get that 7 to 8 hours a night, trying to do this, like I said, reset a lifestyle. Try to see if you can diminish some of your anxiety, stress. Maybe another thing during this time is take time to meditate. Maybe when you feel the hunger or think the hunger is there, you don't really feel the pains, but you think of there, maybe that's a time to stop and go, okay, meditate. Let's see, deep breathing. What's going on with me? Kind of tune into yourself. So what's great about this is that it's giving you natural, clean, organic, great nutrients, key nutrients, just to help rebuild that body. It's easy and safe, and it's just a healthy way to do the detox. So there's the price with the program. We have the friendly guide, and I say you can do it available. You can do 10 days or longer, and it has been studied and researched clinically. So, review of what makes us healthy, making sure all functions of the bodies are, optimally working, 100% of the organs and systems, optimizing your nutrition and entering your body, reduce the toxins going into your body, then make sure we're getting movement and doing the healthy mindset. So this right here is the key to health. In a lot of my talks I talk about, are you moving towards health or disease? It's not like we're ever standing still. We're always kind of moving one direction or the other, okay? And it's just kind of like, is this, are we feeding disease or are you feeding, health? So just like you step into a room, you don't look at going, okay, what's feed the darkness, right? Or try to eliminate the darkness. So you go, oh, I need to turn a light on. So when you turn a light on, darkness automatically goes away, correct? Same thing, when you feed your health, disease automatically goes away. Now, if we focus more on our health, the healthier we're going to be. So, here at the office, we've done this program multiple times because you can call us for team support. Also, if you go on Standard Processes, at standardprocess.com, you go on their website, they have a bunch of support materials and diets, recipes on there. And they have also like a Facebook group you can try to join, and they'll give you all a bunch of team support there. And we're doing, like I said, the 10% off for this month just to help you guys, motivate you to do it now, because now is the time. Don't procrastinate. And here's the office number, 815-344-0113. Now, if you're reaching me and you are not in my area, we do ship. And the Doctor in You is my website, and I do have a bunch of videos talking about other topics if you're interested. And I also have a book on Amazon called A Journey to Vibrant Health. So thank you for your time.